This Steve Jones Show podcast is now loading. The Steve Jones Show podcast is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Brewers Outlet, Sunbury Motor Company, and Purdy Insurance. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
And on this Thursday, brought to you by Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury, Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Ford, Kia, Hyundai, the best in new inventory. A great pre-owned inventory with the Sunbury Motors guarantee. They go over every vehicle in the lot. Makes a big difference in your buying experience. Terrific service department. Quick lane. Quick lane's incredible. Go through and oil change is done with great pros. Inspections, routine, difficult. They handle it all at Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia. Routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Do have a rather full show today, don't we?
We do.
I mean, we've got Max Starks, we got Mark Brennan, and Glenn Papazian from Villanova tomorrow.
And Todd Zalicki confirmed for tomorrow as well.
Oh, good. Phillies are back to playing great baseball again, aren't they?
Yeah, just what I want to hear about a sweep of the Mets.
Yeah, but you know what? It's interesting. We're in an interesting time in terms of what stats mean. And I'm still a big believer that old-time stats still mean something. I think it's great that Juan Soto, for example, has hit 39 home runs. That's terrific. He's only hitting 264 at the plate. He's got, for the kind of money he's getting, he's got to be a 300 hitter.
There's only one 300 hitter.
Well, I know there is. I realize there's only one, but still. And, hey, in 1968, only one guy hit 300. And Yaz hit 301.
I hate to pull the young guy thing, but Yaz also didn't face four guys that are throwing 102 miles an hour in the late innings either.
Nope, and those guys throwing 100 late in the game didn't have to face him. I'm a big believer. I was asked this the other day, and I mentioned this in the show before, but I was actually asked this the other day. How would today's players perform against old-time players in their prime? How would old-time players today play the game? Todd, I'm a big believer. If you were great, hand-eye coordination, speed, things like that, you'd be great in any era.
I don't believe that in the least.
You don't at all?
No, the human body has evolved so much in 50 years. Like if those guys, if you're plopping those guys down now, no. If you're plopping those guys down now where they can go through everything beforehand, then yes.
Well, in other words, I mean, they would have today's training.
Well, then yes.
They already have the natural, the innate hand-eye coordination that makes you great. They already have that. Now, you want to be in today's shape and so forth, they would be in today's shape. Yeah? So I'm a big believer. If you were great then, you'd be great now because you've got already something built into you that allows you to be great. You already have something built into you.
Yeah, but that's built into you now at 102 miles an hour as the human body has evolved.
Yeah.
I mean, Bob Feller probably threw 92 miles an hour. You know what I mean?
No, that's not true. Bob Feller, that's actually not true, Todd. Bob Feller did throw 100. They actually clocked him. He actually threw like 101 or something like that.
I just find it hard to believe that everything has evolved so much in 100 years, but the athletic body hasn't.
The athletic body definitely has because of the year-round training of it. Because you have to remember, if you were a player in a bygone era, I don't care what sport it was, you actually worked jobs in the off-season instead of training in the off-season. Yeah, you trained in the off-season, but you're also selling insurance. I think John Havlicek is a great player. In the late 60s, he's the sixth man of the year. He's winning titles and the whole thing. He's selling insurance in the offseason. I mean, these guys had a lot of off-season jobs. Now it's full year-round training. I think with the natural skills they had to begin with, you give them full year-round training, they'd be great today.
I always laugh when people talk about this. Somebody always says, first off, their minds would be blown by cell phones.
I agree with you. Be like, what? You mean it's a computer in your hand? Now, you have to explain to them first what a computer is.
Yeah, that too.
But see, I just believe that you have the innate skills that would make you great in any era because you'd be involved in the training of that era. Just like today's players would be involved in the training of that era and would have part-time jobs. Right? They wouldn't be working out. I mean, there was no Gold's Gym in the 20s and 30s.
Let's be honest, there was no black people either on the fields in the 20s and 30s. That would might blow their minds, too.
That's a big part of it, too. That's why the players of the 20s and 30s did play exhibitions against and with Negro League players. They actually did charities, so they actually did do it. But, yeah, they never had to face Josh Gibson at the plate. They never had to go against Satchel Paige in an actual major league game, and that was dead wrong. But I just think that if you were great, you think Wilt Chamberlain would be great today? Who in this league could guard him with today's rules? Who could guard him?
Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert foul out in 12 minutes. Because guess what? In today's game, you can't touch him. Right? The rules of today's game is it's physical. But Wilt be like, now, maybe Wilt would foul out. I don't think Wilt ever fouled out of a game. I don't think he ever did. And he's the only guy to block Kareem Skyhook twice.
That's kind of an interesting one, just in the sense that I think most people assume that Wilt Chamberlain was 7 foot, just like they assume Bill Russell was 7 foot, and neither of those are true.
Well, no, I think Wilt was 7'1", I think.
I thought he was 6'10". I thought they were both 6'10".
No, Russell was definitely 6'10". In fact, Russell may have been 6'9", 6'10", right around there. Wilt was definitely 7 feet tall.
It's just amazing to watch those two jump in the 60s.
I know. Well, look, they're great athletes. Wilt was a great athlete. The only area he didn't excel in was shooting free throws. You want to talk about a great passer? Oh, my goodness. Wilt Chamberlain was a great passer. To me, Maurice Rocket Richard would be a great player in the NHL today. Because he'd be playing by today's rules, too. All right? 2-line pass, any kind of contact, yeah. I just think that if you were great in one era, now, are there certain guys from a bygone era that would struggle today? No question. But they were middle-of-the-road guys in their current era to begin with. Just like I think there are current guys today that would struggle back then going, you mean I got to face Walter Johnson today? Really? This could be a long day.
Like you said, it's a long day for those guys against anybody.
Against anybody. That's what makes them middle-of-the-road players. They're good enough to be in the major leagues, but, But I just think that there's certain skills and instincts and ability that match the sport you're in. I mean, Jackie Robinson would be a great player today. All right. And again, you'd be training year round. You'd have the salary. You wouldn't have to take another job. You'd be in prime shape. I mean, there's a lot of things that you would utilize today's training methods with guys that already have great natural talent to begin with. You don't think Walter Johnson threw a billion pitches? You don't think he'd benefit from being in a 5-man rotation? I mean, that'd be something that would be. But Bob Feller did throw 100. He threw 101 because they actually were able to clock him. I don't think they ever really. I doubt they clocked Walter Johnson, and they absolutely didn't clock Cy Young. He throws hard. How hard? I don't know. Just looks hard. Just looks fast. So, hey, you and I may have a different opinion on that. That's fine.
The one I always wonder about is Sandy Koufax with modern medicine.
About the arthritic arm?
Yeah, about the being retired at the age of 31 or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good one.
Because there are guys that don't come back from it, but there's plenty of guys. I mean, almost everybody has a Tommy John on their resume now.
Oh, I know they do, which is a shame. That's because they're all throwing too hard. The difference between like a Sandy Koufax, and he retired at 31. But Sandy Koufax came up and threw hard. Okay? But what made him great was that he was able to then mix in an effective and accurate curveball. Right? So in other words, he became not just a one-trick pony. And a lot of guys today, they can throw hard, but they can't pitch. Sandy Koufax became a pitcher. Nolan Ryan became a pitcher. I mean, there's certain guys that you become, instead of a thrower, you become a pitcher. There are a lot of throwers today. Now, it works for them because they're great in their role. But to have longevity in the game, I think you have to be a pitcher. I think Paul Skeens, in a short period of time, has become a pitcher. He's over 200 strikeouts now. He's done it in 170 innings, I think, to this point. He has had 11 starts this year where he has not allowed a single run in the opening 5 innings. And 8 of those 11, Todd, have been after July 1. He's actually pitching better now than he did at the beginning of the season. Now, people don't sit there and take a look at what the Pirates are doing, but they do look at what Skeens does. And this is where I give Skeens a lot of credit. The credit I give him, and I've talked about this many times, when you come up and you start playing, I don't care what sport it is, the NHL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, the NFL, and you have the ability to get out of the gate and you're playing well, they eventually, after a few games or weeks or months, they get a book on you. Basketball, boy, he's more effective when he goes left than right. Baseball, he's got all these hot zones, but they find the cold zone. And then it's up to you to adjust. Skeens has been terrific for 2 years. They've had 2 years now to adjust to him, and they still can't hit him. I mean, that speaks so highly of him because he's a multiple pitch pitcher to begin with. He is not a thrower. He's a pitcher. He has a great fastball, but he's an excellent pitcher. Or the Met, you're probably sitting there thinking you look good in that Mets uniform.
I hope Steve Cohen's putting some money back for him. Yes, I mean, from his end, he's got to be quietly frustrated just with that offense, man.
They lost 2-1 last night.
I know.
I mean, in 10 innings, they go out and they know that they don't have to score a lot of runs when he pitches, and they still can't beat teams. I mean, how frustrating is that?
I'm interested to see how the Cy Young vote goes.
Oh, he'll win it. No, he'll win it. I just think he's been too good, too dominant. I think he'll win the National League Cy Young, especially with Wheeler not available.
I guess I can't come up with another candidate.
No. Not in the National League.
No, not in the National League. I mean, because Sale got hurt, too. He was hurt most of the middle of the season.
Yep. So I've had a lot of guys miss. He hasn't been missing time. Now, down the stretch, they may just pitch him fewer innings down the stretch. It sounds to me like they have a plan in place now where they don't want him to pitch deep in the games because they know, okay, they've already clinched the fact that they're not going to finish over 500. It's going to be the 29th time in the last 33 years the Pirates have been under 500 because they lost game 82 last night.
I wonder what happens if they have another off season like last off season. I mean, does he seems like a guy that won't say anything, but does another off season like that finally get him to speak up and say, "Hey, guys"?
I mean, from his perspective, what's the use?
No, that's true. I mean, he's still young enough in his career. He doesn't really have a lot of leverage to force them to trade him or anything yet.
He has no leverage.
Yeah.
He has no leverage at all. I think they've got control of him. I think they're at least 27. Let me see here. I can find out right away where their control is. Bing, 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 bing. Yeah, right there. Let's see. Yeah, I think they've got control of him through at least, actually maybe 28. Good Lord. I mean, the guys have been so good. And it's not. Bio uniform draft and salary. Here we go. Let's see here. He is arbitration eligible in 2027. He can't become a free agent until 2030. How about that? Right now he's, what is he, 22?
Yeah.
He's 23. He's 23 now. Yep. So he cannot be arbitration eligible till 27, and he can't be a free agent till 30. They have complete control over him. Now, he can hold out, which will drive down their attendance every 5 days.
That is what I'm sitting here thinking is that arbitration salary in 3 years is not something they're going to want to pay either. He's going to be walking in there with some ridiculous numbers.
Well, you want to know what he makes right now?
They did bump him to $1 million, didn't they?
No, his current salary is $740,000. His current salary is $740,000. Unbelievable. And these people get away with it all the time. And all the rules work against a kid like this. All the rules in the collective bargaining agreement are now geared toward veterans, which I understand, by the way, and I do appreciate the fact that they're for veterans. You put in your time. But this kid, right, all the rules work against him.
And I mean, other than the fans not showing up, what rules are there for the Pirates to put a competitive team around him? I mean, what's the consequences?
Zero. And you know what? They've been strange because the Pirates have actually played well against the Dodgers, right?
Yeah.
They took 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox. So, they had a point where they won 8 out of 10 games. It's not as if there weren't some times where they put up some numbers and played. But you're right. There is no incentive for them at all to put a team out there that's worth its salt. None.
And they've done a great job of following through on that.
Yep. You got to give them credit. They promised nothing, and they've delivered nothing. There is a level of consistency there, which I think is pretty impressive.
But not one I'd like to reach.
No, but I have to ask you, I mean, being a Pirates fan is incredibly frustrating, but being a Mets fan, you spent like the gross domestic product of Panama.
Yeah, and you're going to end up not even being a wild card team the way it's going.
Yeah.
Party time, game time, or just fun time. Doesn't matter what time it is because it's Brewers Outlet time. The Beverage Supermarket has the area's largest beer selection. Imports, microbrews, ciders, and domestics. Pick from over 100 ice-cold 12-packs and dozens of 24-ounce singles. Soda, snacks, hot sauces, fresh roasted peanuts. Make it one-stop party shopping, and don't forget the pickle bar. So whatever you're celebrating or just doing it up, Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street, Sunbury wants to see you. And thank you for your years of patronage.
Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Purdy Insurance, Brewers Outlet, and Sunbury Motor Company. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Half hour brought to you by Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Auto, home, life, business, boat, motorcycle, RV, Medicare products. Remember, the Medicare open enrollment period is coming up. They can help you. They do everything they can to save you money while making sure you're fully insured because customer service means everything to them. At Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury, go to purdyinsurance.com. All right. Let's see. Let's get a couple of things for you, Penn State football-wise. It's one thing that we're seeing right now. We know that it's Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton as the running backs, but the question is who would 3 and 4 be? They were able to play Cam Wallace against Nevada and also get Corey Smith into the game. I think they'd like to get Quentin Martin into a game. In fact, the only 2 running backs that played in the FIU game were Allen and Singleton. So you'd like to get them into the game, if possible, on Saturday. I think the wide receiver part, you look at the first 2 games, and you look at the number of snaps to this point. Liam Clifford has 45 of them. Devontae Ross has 52. And then it kicks up to Trevor Payne at 92 and Kyron Hudson now at 97 snaps through the first 2 games. what's interesting is Kobe Howard's actually been out there more than Tysier Denmark. Howard has 22 snaps so far, and Denmark has 18. I will say this. I'm watching Denmark yesterday in practice. I just continue to be impressed by how he finds openings, the catches he makes. I think Denmark is going to be somebody that there'll be a game or two this year that his contributions are going to mean something to a Penn State win. Okay? I see it in him. And so we'll find out from there. James Franklin yesterday, when he talked with the media, that there's been some communication issues. Now, when you're on defense, guess what happens when you're on defense at Penn State? The crowd is screaming. Right? It's kind of like when the suit walks into a stadium. Oh, there he is. Okay. But that's on defense, that's where you have to communicate. And there are actually a couple of technology issues, which I didn't know about. So they want to clean that up moving forward. But there actually were, believe it or not, a couple of technology issues. It happens. On offense, you're always working on communication. But it's also important on defense. It's also important on defense.
Steve, the Chief is here for the football roundtable.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not quite done with this yet, which I understand. And the so they've got to clean that up on defense, and then they're going to face something completely different this week because they're going to face a team that's a 3-3-5. That's a little different. A lot of teams are playing 4-2-5. This team is a 3-3-5. I've got it all over my chart, 3-3-5. And that's the first thing I thought of right away. So, yeah. By the way, one other note. Todd, have you thought about this part? And this is going to next season now. You know what I think is going to be important next season? Is they've got to get used to playing with the Adidas ball when they're throwing it, as opposed to the Nike ball. You know, that football's a football? Not really.
Is there a difference?
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes there is. Like, for example, when Penn State plays basketball, you have to practice with the basketball that they have. So, in other words, if you have the Rock, you have to practice with the Rock. If they have Spalding, you have to play Spalding. If they're an Adidas school, you practice with an Adidas basketball. Because, believe it or not, there's slight differences. How about that? Great. I mean, that's something next year. Think about it. All right. Dave Ritchie joins us, the Chief in our high school roundtable. Sir, welcome.
Hey, it's good to be here, Steve.
Okay, so for the first time this season, they have to bounce back from something. In reality, Shamokin's really good. So was it really a surprise as to what you saw the other night?
No, it wasn't. The one thing I was talking to Todd about before I got on was the fact that I think Shamokin basically was trying to develop a little bit more offensive methods. They passed a lot more. They could have ran the ball on us pretty all night long. And, hey, listen, I expected them to be good outside with the quarterback steal running and their one halfback. And the big fullback they got inside, he could pick up 8 or 9 yards off tackle the whole night. So nothing surprised me with what they did. It's the fact that they didn't run the ball until they decided they needed to, if that makes any sense.
Right, sure. No, I mean, that does make complete sense. What did Shikellamy do well in defeat?
Well, they bounced back. If you think about it, the very first pass that was thrown, Brody threw it short and it was intercepted, and Steele took it back for a touchdown. And I think 2 passes later he threw another interception that came back for a touchdown but was called back because of a hold. But Shamokin scored and they went up 14-0, and we weren't 2 minutes into the first quarter. The kids held on. They came back and they scored, and we were 14-7. And I think Shamokin scored once or twice before the half. And so we went in at least knowing we could move the ball against them, and we stopped them a couple of times. In the third quarter, I think Shamokin's size and their experience and their athletic ability took command. But I will tell you this, Steve, the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter were probably the most exciting that I've done. I think Kevin would agree with me. The two JV teams played each other the last 8 minutes, and both teams scored 2 touchdowns. We had 4 touchdowns in 8 minutes by the junior varsity, and it kept what turned out to be a rout by Shamokin into an enjoyable game for everybody who was there, because you saw the future. It really did see the future there.
Yeah, well, that's great. That's a lot of fun, without question. And you mentioned the experience part of it.
Yeah.
Where is the lack of experience something that they need to overcome? It doesn't mean it won't eventually be good, because experience will allow them to become better.
Yeah.
But where's the lack of experience hurting them at the moment?
Well, we play a 3-5 or a 3-4 a lot of times, and right now the defensive front three are usually freshmen and sophomores. There might be a junior. Well, the one junior that was playing in there, he was hurt in the Lewisburg game. So I think that's one of the areas where we're a little inexperienced. I thought the offensive line was going to be more experienced this year, but we lost. At one point, we lost both offensive guards who had like 3 years of experience. So once they're back, we're okay there. Very experienced at quarterback, very experienced at the wideouts. I think the linebackers, we might have one person that's playing there for the first time. And the defensive backfield, basically it's the same defensive backfield we've had. These kids are juniors back when they were freshmen. So I'd say if any place where we lacked in experience might have been up front on the defensive line.
Okay, so this week, it's bounce back time. How do you look at this week?
Well, I think our kids are they're not going to let this get them down. I mean, my gosh, we won 2 football games and we lost to a very good team from Shamokin. I don't know. I don't think Williamsport has played anybody at the caliber of Shamokin. I know they've won their games, so it'll be a test for us. I remember we went up there last year, not winning a game, 0-3, and gave them a real good game until the fourth quarter. So I think that our kids will remember that. Williamsport's always going to have. They're always going to have. They're like Shamokin. They're always going to have somebody that's got a lot of speed. It doesn't matter whether it's a wide out or if it's a running back, and they're usually pretty good in the line. But I think that our team overall will play better this week. I do. I think the fact that you win 2 games and all of a sudden you kind of get something handed to you. And, you realize, well, maybe I got to work a little bit harder. Maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. And that's the kind of attitude these kids have. So I think they'll be back. Okay.
WKOK here on 1070 on Friday night beginning at 6:30. Schickleming at home with Williamsport. Chief, thanks so much, bud.
Thank you, Steve.
All right. Other games, we'll get to Selinsgrove in a moment. Bloomsburg will be at Warrior Run. Montgomery's at Wyalusing. Muncie at Northwest. Lewisburg plays at Hughesville. Midwest is at Loyalsock. Mount Carmel is at Southern Columbia. Danville at Central Columbia. Jersey Shore is at Shamokin. South Williamsport's at Milton. And Halifax will be at Line Mountain. Which game are you at?
I'm doing Shamokin and Jersey Shore.
Yeah, I thought you'd be there.
This is a really, there's 3 games this week between 2 3-0 teams. So I kind of like to split myself in 3s.
Well, Selinsgrove's going to play at Central Mountain. You've talked to the people there. Where do they think they need to be better right now?
Well, I think right now it's offensively. They only have 13 points in 3 games.
Yeah, they had 6 against Jersey Shore, but your Jersey Shore is really good. Yeah,
Jersey Shore was really good, and that actually came on a turnover by Jersey Shore early in the game, and Selinsgrove actually led that one early. But again, the issue for them right now is not only consistency on offense; they really don't have any big plays. They haven't. Nothing's really come easy for them yet on offense. Part of that is a function of their opponents. The Twin Valley and Jersey Shore really wasn't a good matchup. This Central Mountain team's a better matchup for them, obviously. They're 0-3, and they haven't scored yet. They're really struggling offensively as well. They don't quite have I think they barely have 400 yards of total offense on the season.
But they're not used to this, though. They're used to being the high-flying, everybody's just scared to death of their offense team. This has got to be almost like a culture shock for the fans.
Well, I mean, other than the Tucker Teets era and this little stretch here in the last 5 or 6 years, this has kind of been the Selinsgrove team. It's really been defensive-oriented, and the offense has struggled at times. It hasn't been, as bad as it's been these first 3 games of the season, but, We've talked about this numerous times. The other big issue is they're just really young. I mean, they only have 13 kids in the junior and senior class combined. Everybody else is sophomores and freshmen, and this is a hard area to be young in football wise. It's just there's so many teams that are usually experienced, and if it's a year where you're real young, it's real tough to compete.
Yeah, exactly right. That is such an issue. Right? I mean, there's the old saying, youth is a disease, but there's a cure. All right. What are the other 3-0 games?
So Shamokin and Jersey Shore in Division I of the Heartland. Yeah. Division II has Mifflinburg and Montoursville. And Division III is Warrior Run and Bloomsburg. All those teams are 3-0.
Okay. Very nice. All right. And don't forget the WKOK Sports Live YouTube channel, and Selinsgrove will be on the SBC Sports Live YouTube channel. And don't forget to check out the Sunbury Broadcasting High School scoreboard. Keep you up to date on everything. And it's not like they don't just put the final score down. As other games are going on, they keep you up to date. If it's the second quarter, it's the third quarter, it's on there on the scoreboard. They do a great job with it. All right. Take a break. Back with more in a moment. Brought to you by Purdy Insurance here on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
Fall in Central PA means hunting season, football games, and tailgates. Make sure you're rolling up in a brand new Ford from Sunbury Motors Ford. Over 30 2025 Ford Explorers are ready to roll with discounts up to $6,200, starting at just $38,530. 16 2025 Ford Escapes are here with prices slashed up to $9,000 off. Priced from only $26,770. That is Sunbury Motors Ford's lowest price ever. And for truck season, over 70 Ford F-150 F-Series trucks in stock with discounts up to $10,416. That's right, a brand new F-150 for under $45,000. Load up for the big game, gear up for hunting season, or just hit the road this fall in the Ford you've been waiting for. Sunbury Motors Ford, the North Forest Rate Auto Plaza in Sunbury and at sunburymotors.com. Run by the Mertz family for 110 years.
Hi, this is Season. For over 100 years, the Purdy Insurance Agency has been protecting families and businesses of the greater Susquehanna Valley and beyond. With the experience of our trained and knowledgeable staff, you can rest assured that your needs will be evaluated and met by some of the industry's best representatives. No matter what your insurance needs are, call Purdy Insurance today at 570-286-5855. Visit our website at purdyinsurance.com or check us out on Facebook to see what we can do for you.
All right. Great to have you with us. Max Starks next half hour. Yeah. And we'll talk about the Steelers, which to me was a surprising game in that not that the Steelers won, and not that Aaron Rodgers was good, but it was that the offense carried the day and not the defense. I thought that part surprised me. I don't know about you, but that part surprised me. You may not have been paying attention.
The thing that sticks out to me, I don't know if you saw this video. It was the two Packers guards blocking on the goal line. And they put the two Steelers defensive tackles on top of each other and then celebrated.
There you go.
That usually doesn't happen to the interior of the Steelers line. I think that was what the most surprising part was is they really struggled in the middle of the field stopping the run.
Yeah, that doesn't usually happen. Doesn't happen. Yeah. I don't know. It's. I think that's interesting. But it was not what I expected. Okay. Did I expect them to get 32 points? But you're watching the first quarter and a half of the game, you're thinking, oh, this could be a wild one. Because first of all, Justin Fields, to his credit, I thought played a lot better than I thought he would. Right? And I'm like, okay. Yeah, I was impressed. Now,
I mean, that was kind of what the perfect world. If you're a Josh, if you think Josh Fields is going to be a good NFL quarterback, that's exactly what you expect to see out of him.
Yeah, again, after week one, I can't tell you who's any good.
No,
right? Like anybody. Hey, the Bills, look what they do. I'm like, okay, they came from behind. They won game one. Did they look good doing it? Baltimore looked good getting the lead, then looked bad giving it up. I don't know. I mean, the Eagles and the Cowboys, neither one of them looked good after the lightning delay. Like, it was kind of like No, that's the only part I watched. That's the only part I watched. Because I had a baseball game that night. But it's so.
I think it was Merrill that said it on Tuesday. I mean, this is basically the preseason now. And you can see, you can clearly see sometimes that this is the first time all 11 of these guys have been together in a live game situation.
Well, again, how many times did you hear me say in the preseason leading up to Penn State's opening game that the first three games were going to be important for Jim Knowles to get a feel for what his personnel could do, what they could do at a high level, and if there's an area where they're struggling with it, with his concepts. Well, I go back to Vic Fangio last year, who's a brilliant defensive mind. The first four games last year, the Eagles' defense didn't play well, and they were 2-2. And then after they had the bye week and had a chance to really sit down and self-scout, which I think this upcoming bye week is critical for Penn State. They'll have a chance to self-scout. That's tremendous. That's going to be important because that will give them a chance to take a breath and say, okay, Andy, Justin, and Jim can all sit down and go, okay, what's working, what's not, what do we need to be better at? Can we add something? Should we take something out? I mean, next week's actually going to be one of the more important weeks of the season.
You're listening.